Okay, see, I like these kind of filters. These are nice. I like it. It's kind of like cartoony, but not. But yes, but not. But black and white. I like it. Anyway, I think it's time. I think it's time. I've been thinking about this for quite a while, and I think it's time to start my telling my story officially and actually posting my story, you know, in sequential order and just, telling it. Because mom initially wanted me to write a book. And my best friend, she also, way back in the day, I believe the subject came up like the very first time when I was 36, 35 ish. Um, and my kids were little, and I was young, and I didn't think I thought it was crazy. Me write a book? Why? Who? What am I an expert on that anybody's going to want to spend their hard-earned money buying a book written by me? I mean, seriously? Seriously? So, when the subject first came up, I didn't think that I had enough life experience. I'm 35. Who writes a book at 35? Especially when, me being who I am, I feel like I need to know what I'm talking about. I feel like I need to have some qualifications, some background, some credentials, some experience, something to draw from. You can't just like come up with a subject and just go for it, like you're just a goddamn expert. Which I didn't feel like an expert of anything at 35. I felt like, yeah, well, I've survived. That's good, but I hadn't really been up against anything. So I remember saying, you know what? I'll revisit that thought after I've experienced some life. I'll think about it. So I kind of tabled it. And fast forward uh, to today, um, life has beaten my ass. No joke. Life decided, oh, you want some experience? All right, all right, all right, all right. We got you. We got you. We got you. So life decided to throw me some damn experience after I said that. So be careful what you say. Careful what you wish for, because you know what? When you say stuff like that, sometimes you get what you wish for. And I was like, when I have some experience to actually talk about and something to draw from and have actually been through some things and lived a little bit, then maybe I will feel competent to write a damn story that somebody wants to hear. That was me being funny back in the early 90s. Here I am, 60, less than a month away from 61. I got a lot to talk about. I remember my mom also talking to me about writing a story. Maybe 10 years after that. So, I was like early 40s, just hitting 45. And I had been through a really rough divorce and gone to college and learned some stuff about myself by that time. But I still was like, Mom, really? What is the deal with me writing a story? Why, this has come up a number of times in my life. Why do people keep saying, Tina, you need to write a book? Tina, you need to write a book. Tina, you need to write a book. And I'm like, let me think back to all these people who keep saying, I need to write a book. And why did they say that at that point in time? And then I started thinking about it and going, wait a minute. And my mom's response was, well, because your story includes my story. And my story includes my mom's story. And our story needs to be told. Hmm. And I had to think about that and go, you know what? She's got a point. Because mom has a really interesting story. And her story has to include her mama. It just does. When you hear it, you'll know why I said that. Now, here's the funny part. It's kind of sad too. The last person to tell me, yeah, you need to write a book, mom, was my daughter, Brianna. And she said, you're just really cool. And you're like a great mom. And I think you should write a book. I think grandma's right. I think Auntie Katina's right. I think you need to write a book. And she was really enthusiastic about it. And she wanted me to write a book. So I said, all right, my bestie, my mama, my baby, and my internal monologue that's been talking to me since I was like, I don't know, old enough to know I had an internal monologue, which I used to think was my imaginary friend. It's just my internal monologue because my brain has been running through what if scenarios since I was able to have an opinion, which was as far back as I can remember, about three and a half, 4. Mm-hmm. So even my inner monologue has been telling me, you might want to jot it down. So I think we're here. So the catalyst to making me decide to do this now is a combination of a few things. One, my mom is no longer with us. She passed away. My daughter is no longer with us. She also passed away. And going through the depression and the changes I've had to go through to be able to survive those two events, and preceding those two events was my horrible divorce, which all of that culminated in me and my bestie not even really being much in contact anymore because Tina can't handle stress. And much as I love my best friend, she's a lot. She's a lot. She takes a lot of attention, and I just don't have it anymore. But the 3 people that said you need to write a story, write a book, and encouraged me to do so, aren't around right now. But I think they were right, and I think I'm ready. Also, and most importantly, my mental health has improved to the point where I can actually think again. And that is in thanks to the medication that I'm on finally after 10 damn years of antidepressants, trying to figure out which one is supposed to work with my brain. Yeah. So now's the time. So my story will be forthcoming, but I'm not writing down nothing. I'm not writing down a goddamn thing. Tina ain't writing shit down. I'm gonna tell you what Tina's gonna do. Tina is going to use what has worked for Tina and, the current medium, which is video. Or maybe I'll update this to a podcast. I don't know. Just depends on how, how I can break it up. But anyway, it's gonna be a lot because I got 60 years of story. And as I've been told, and I know, I'm long-winded. So this could be a long, probably podcast or vlog, however you want to name it. I don't know. I'm just doing what I do. Now, before I get going, I got to put a disclaimer up. First of all, I'm not credentialed in any way to talk about any subject under the sun. I don't have any special credentials, no licenses, no nothing like that. I don't have no special education, no special studies. The only thing I'm a specialist in is me. And that's what I'm talking about, is me. So everything that I'm talking about is in relation to myself and my own personal experiences These are all my opinions, and it is based on my life and my personal experiences. So I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not anybody special. I'm just me being me. So I got to make sure I put that disclaimer out there because I don't want anybody coming back saying, "Well, you said da 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 da." That's because that's my damn opinion. Okay, and since it's my opinion and it's my channel, I'm telling you right now, this is not no specialist nothing. This is me being me. The only thing I'm a specialist on is Tina. So that's what I'm talking about is Tina. Everything that I say I'm a specialist on has to do with me being who I am. So with that as the disclaimer, that may have came out real aggressive. I'm sorry. I can come off like that. And, this is also going to be a lot of self-examination because I have been doing a lot of it. It's hard. It's hard to grow and improve and change as the world and society changes around you without a lot of self-improvement. You have to really go into you and get a lot. So I've done a lot of self-introspection. And so I'm always questioning, is it me or, am I being just a little too sensitive? Because I have a tendency to just so I got to make sure it's not just me. But uh, I'm just being myself because that's the only person I can be. Um, and I'm just telling my story mainly because no matter how, and this is something I've learned, and my story is going to be interspersed with a lot of due to this experience right here that I just told you about. This is what I learned from it. So, and I got that from my daughter. So we're going to have a lot of that. And remember, you've been warned. I am long winded. Just saying. Just saying. Now here's the thing. It's hot. First of all, I'm sitting outside, which is my favorite place to be. I love sitting outside, outdoors, just out where the air is at. And yeah, it's 103 today. It's been triple digits for 3 weeks now. I live in Southern California, well, Central California. Technically, I live in what's called the armpit of California. They trying to be funny. Everybody got damn jokes, but it's hot in July and August where I live. So yeah, I'm sweating. All right. And why am I sitting outside if I'm sweating? Because I like it outside. I'm just an outside kind of person. Inside makes me feel clustered and shut in. I like being outdoors. So that's where I'm at. And I normally would be in my garage. And you're thinking to yourself, why is this relevant? I don't get why this is relevant, but it is. It comes around later. Everything I say is going to come back around later, trust me. But I would normally be in my garage, but it's a mess. And my garage is sort of my second home when outside is not comfortable. So I spend a lot of time in the garage because I spend a lot of time outside. And I go in the garage and open up the doors and I can look across the street at the park. It's beautiful. It's just me because I'm weird like that. It's just, I'm weird like that. So I'm outside. I'm sweating. I'm going to be sweating. Get used to it. It is what it is. Now, since I'm starting with like my story, I think a little bit of context about who I am may help. But let me start with before I get into context of me, let me start with why. Why am I even sharing this? That's the question. Because, that's the question I would have. That's the question I have had. So, I like to know. Um, why am I sharing this? I'll tell you why I'm sharing this. Because many years ago, I said, when I have something that's worth writing down and publishing for someone else to come along and spend their hard earned money to pay for, to read and go through, I need to have something worth talking about, something worth paying for. But what I have at this point in time, fast forward to when that original thought and conversation happened, what I have today is a whole bunch of life experiences that, in order for me to get to here today, I had to go through a lot of changes. And ultimately, I had to find other people who could relate in order for me to stop feeling so alone. And because of YouTube, and I'm gonna give it to you, it's YouTube. Sorry, I gotta give credit where credit is due. It's YouTube. Because of YouTube and Google and their everything that Google does, and Google, that we're gonna come back around to that too. But there's a reason I mentioned Google, but and why I appreciate them so much. But anyway, if because of YouTube, I can find people, and I found people who get it, and I needed to hear what they had to say, and so somebody needs to hear what I have to say. What goes around comes around.